If you are lucky, you may go through life without ever needing an ambulance. If you ever do need one, though, it's reassuring to know it's just a 911 call away.
Most of us don't think much about the people who work on ambulance crews. We just assume those folks are always there, always ready to answer the call. In the town of Norway, we found a man who has answered that call, quite possibly more than anyone in Maine. When Dwight Corning was 17 years old and a freshman at the University of Maine, another student roped him into going to an ambulance attendant training class. Soon after, he had a job as an ambulance attendant. Did you like it right from the start?
I loved it.
I understand you have a vivid recall of the first call you ever went out on.
Yes. There was a car accident in the town of Orono with the driver of the car with some significant injuries. But I had no idea going into this, if I saw blood, would I pass out? Would I throw up? Would I, what would happen? Well, nothing bad happened. So I knew I could continue on and do this job.
As an ambulance attendant back then, his training was modest, advanced first aid and CPR, which was okay because ambulances weren't expected to do much more than speed patients to the hospital. In fact, when you were starting out, in a lot of communities in Maine, it was the local funeral home who actually provided the ambulance service.
That is true.
Some of those ambulances back then were actually hearses. Is that right? And then what would be done is the driver would take a red beacon and with a magnet attach it to the roof of the hearse, and then boom, it's instantly transformed into an ambulance.
That's absolutely true. I never worked directly for one of those, but that is absolutely true.
Dwight Corning, who's now a highly trained paramedic, has seen a lot because he's been working on or around ambulances since 1974. For the last 35 or so years, he's been here at Emergency Medical Services, covering Norway and several other surrounding towns. What is it about this work that has kept you doing it and doing it with enthusiasm for so long?
I'm here to help the people who need us, and it's just as rewarding and just as wonderful to me as it always has been.
Out on the street, he doesn't need a GPS.
Very familiar. Yeah, I've covered this area for a long time, so I'm very familiar.
He couldn't begin to count the number of calls he has responded to in this community.
It would be nice to have more Dwights around. We definitely have some good folks here, there's no doubt about it. But his level of experience within the EMS system and just his knowledge of the community is just priceless.
The schedule is taxing. Last year, Dwight averaged about 70 hours of work a week. And it wasn't always easy for his wife and 4 kids when he was working on hundreds of birthdays and holidays. But he has stayed with the work because he enjoys it and because some changes have eased the physical demands.
One of the interesting things, just to give you some comparison between old and new, so on these stretches are all automatic for what they do. So
no heavy lifting anymore.
No heavy lifting.
Beyond the physical toll, there is the mental and emotional toll brought on by seeing gruesome injuries, violent deaths, all manner of pain and suffering.
Many providers do have some significant stress, and it's a challenge for them to work through that and control that and do the best they can. It's not easy. Not easy.
Dwight says he doesn't feel that kind of stress when he's trying to save the life of someone who's critically ill or injured, and it's because of his deep religious faith.
I'm very godly oriented, and I usually look at it as I'm simply the gloves on his hand. So I'm simply doing as guided and directed. So for me, personally, I'm not stressed. Those people who survive, that I had to do something significant to, wasn't me. Those people who don't, I can do the best I can to help and contribute, but I'm not the total control of that. So again, for me personally, I'm not stressed.
It should make everyone in the Norway area a little less stressed to know that Dwight Corning is still on the job, still enthusiastic about it, after 51 years and counting. It's always nice to run into someone who seems to have clearly found what they were meant to do in life, and you really seem to fall into that category.
It's where I was placed and what I've enjoyed doing. No complaints.
Since he has no complaints, he's going to keep working. He has no retirement plans. He knows that, he's getting closer, but for now, no retirement plans.
And he's just so calm, cool, and collected, which if you're in an emergency,
Right.
that is exactly the kind of person you
He's
want
the
coming
guy
up to help you.
You would want helping out.
Exactly.
Without question.
Good stuff.